We get bombarded by our sales team. We get bombarded by people who run our facilities that they want more patients. They need more patients. It's how the business runs. So we are constantly pushed to get more. So we were adding keywords, just constantly adding keywords to our paid search. And we were up around 35,000. And obviously not 35,000 are effective, not 35,000 are profitable. And we had never really spent time to go through and understand what it means. Now, I don't know if any of you have gone through 35,000 keywords or even if you've gone through 1,000 keywords. But it is a pain in the rear end, and you go blurry-eyed and you get all confused. So we basically took a different approach and we started to understand what was the motivation behind the keywords, and we started to map what was the profitability based on that motivation. And what we found was that of the motivated keywords, that was the profit zone, we weren't actually spending enough on those, and we were wasting a lot of dollars on lower profitability or unprofitability words, and we were losing that because it's not delivering what we want for financial results. So if you think about in any given time period, and when you're investing dollars in your budget and you're running out of budget, how many of those high expensive keywords that have low motivation just to increase your clicks or increase your, in our case, inquiries, but they're actually not translating into admissions or they're not translating into closed sales. So that's what we were focused on, was reworking this.
So again, I'm going to push on this and emphasize it, quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
So we're going to look at an analysis that Jon's team did, but first, I just want you to relay the empathy. Like, what really impressed me about Jon is the empathy he has for his customers. Can you talk about an experience where you can maybe understand what your customers might be going through?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we all face these issues. Everyone in this room, you know somebody. You know somebody who drinks too much. You know somebody who's struggling in life, depression, whatever it is. These are life-altering changes, not just to that person, but to the family. It's devastating. It ruins the family. Financially crushes them. Oftentimes people split up. So we're dealing with a very acute situation. And typically it happens, husband's driving home, too many, hits a telephone pole, in jail, and now the family's facing financial ruin and they're calling us. So we started to look at this behavior and understand what our patients were going through and what the families were going through. And I'll share a little example. We use Eloqua, and we were tracking how many times people were hitting our website. And we had this one particular situation. It was for youth services, so we deal with adolescents all the way up to 18. And we found that this person had hit our website 3 months earlier, just kind of browsed around the website. We didn't obviously know anything at that point. Comes back 3 months later on 11 p.m., hits our website, and for the next 3 hours, she hits our websites 26 times. That person's sitting in the emergency room probably. Her daughter probably is cutting herself, sitting on death's door, and her mom is like, this has to stop. I'm going to lose my child. What do I do? Who am I going to call? So she's sitting there clicking on our website, frantic, thinking about how can I just get somebody to help my child, get them out of this situation. They've probably tried everything. When you call us, you are at the end, because our services, you come to us for a while, because we have to do some really deep therapy to get them out of that. And so understanding that, now you think about, okay, I'm a marketer. How do I actually write that on a page? That's very tough. I have to have empathy in there, but I also have to be very careful in how I phrase things. I can't just say the things that come to mind. I have to think about this person's in an emotional state. How am I going to communicate that our services can help? But most importantly, that you can trust us. This is your closest person in your life. This is your dear loved ones. How can I communicate that you can trust us with their life? And that's probably the hardest situation we face.
So I think the lesson we can all learn from that is, do you have empathy for your customers? So you might be, let's say, in a complex B2B sale and your customers aren't undergoing a life or death situation, but trust me, in that complex B2B sale, they may be putting their job on the line, their career on the line. So just think about when you're constructing your marketing, do you have empathy for who those customers really are? What will they really be looking for? And one way you did that was with some analysis. Give us a little bit of insight into the analysis into your search.
Yeah, this is recent information that we just learned, and it's really interesting in terms of when we sit at this conference, we're talking a lot about value proposition. And we were going through those 35,000 keywords, and we're trying to understand what's the motivation, how are people coming in. So we took a pause. Now, our thought was, hey, shove the value proposition all the way up in front of the funnel. As far up as you can get, shove it up there. But the problem is that's not the motivation of the buyer. The motivation of the buyer is actually driving their decisions. You can't change that conversation until you start the conversation. So and I hear this a lot from other marketers. When can we stress our value proposition? And in this case, we learned, hey, look, people are searching on facility. That's what they're physically typing into Google. But what they're looking for is a center. They're not looking for a value proposition. Their mind is, I need to go to a drug rehab facility, but what they want is a term center. And what does a center connotate to you guys? Knowledge, research, excellence, trust. A facility represents 4 walls and a ceiling.